And the Eggheads have lost one brain from the final round. The last subject for you is history, so who would like this?
That's the one you were going for anyway.
Unfortunately, that was one of my subjects, so it leaves to have dropped lucky.
Definitely
Richard?
you.
Definitely me.
Against which Egghead? And you can have Chris or Pat.
What do we think?
I'm not sure.
No
It's your choice.
Chris?
What do you think? What do you
My
want to
choice? I'll take on Chris.
All right, so Richard from the Mighty Squirrels versus Chris from the Eggheads. To ensure there's no conferring, would you please take your positions in the question room? Okay, Richard, history.
Indeed.
And I gather just before we go on that you worked with or for Alan Sugar?
I did, Jeremy. In the 80s, when I was cutting my way in business, I worked for Amstrad, as it was becoming the success story of the 80s.
Was he quite inspirational to work with?
He was, and he was equally as fearsome as you see on the TV.
And
He was a lot younger in those days, but he certainly hasn't lost his edge.
Did you ever hear him say the immortal words to any of your colleagues?
Not in earshot.
All right, Alan Sugar, there we are. I'll ask each of you 3 questions on history in turn, Richard. You could choose the first or second set.
Well, as a bowler, I always like to get my work done and then put my feet up. So,
Second set.
well, as a bowler, I always like to get my work done and then put my feet up. So I'm going to go first, Jeremy.
Here is your question. How was Louis XVI's wife Marie treated? Was she shot, hanged, or guillotined?
Various methods of execution, but being in France, the most favoured method of executing people was the guillotine. So I'm going to go for guillotine.
Guillotine is the right answer. Well done. Chris, your question. Edward III, who ruled England for 50 years during the 14th century, was a member of which royal house? Was it Norman, Plantagenet, or Tudor?
He was a Plantagenet.
He was indeed a Plantagenet. So 1 each. Back to you, Richard. What type of weapon was the medieval pike? Was it cannon, crossbow, or spear?
Well, medieval, it's not going to be a cannon. And I probably wouldn't have thought medieval times a crossbow was around, but having watched Robin Hood, they certainly used crossbows, whether that's medieval or not. Spears have been around for a long time. A pike, I think, was something with something on the top. I would say a spear.
Spear is the correct answer, Richard. Okay, Chris, your question. In 1964, a collision in the Thames between 2 ships caused the loss of 42 what? Which had been en route buses, telephone boxes, or combine harvesters?
Whoa. Well, we weren't exporting telephone boxes to Cuba. We hadn't started phasing out the real telephone boxes then for conversion into shower cabinets or what have you. I don't think we were exporting combine harvesters to Cuba because Cuba's main crop is sugar. You don't harvest that with a combine harvester. But from about 1960 onwards, London Transport were replacing the RT fleet with the RM fleet, and there were a lot of redundant London buses which could be flogged off, so we were sending buses to Cuba. So it's buses.
I love the way you held your knowledge off to the end there. Buses is absolutely right. I've never heard about this story. So at the bottom of the Thames somewhere, there's 42 buses. Is that right?
No, they were hazardous navigation. They were salvaged and scrapped.
Oh, okay, so they weren't just left.
Oh, no. The Thames isn't that deep.
Okay, Richard, your third question. In May 1941, sailors from which Royal Navy ship boarded the German U-110 submarine, leading to the capture of an Enigma cipher machine? HMS Bulldog.
It's certainly not HMS Somali. It was either Lightning or it was Bulldog. I think I will go for HMS Lightning.
Let me ask Chris and see if he knows this, because you love your military stuff.
Well, I think it was HMS Somali, which would be a tribal class destroyer.
Nope. Anyone?
HMS Bulldog.
HMS Bulldog is the right answer, Richard. So you got it wrong, I'm afraid. Seems unfair since Chris did as well, but there we go. It's the way the cookie crumbles. It means that Chris has a chance now to book his place in the final. Which tribe occupied lands in southwest Wales at the time of the Roman conquest of Britain? Was it the Demitai, the Taixali, or the Iceni?
Ah. Well, it wasn't the Iceni because they were Boadicea's tribe. They were in East Anglia. I've never heard of the middle one, Taixali. So it's the Demitai.
Do you think he's right, Richard?
I actually would have no idea either, but from your reaction, I would go for the middle one.
Well, it's just Chris is a very good quizzer, and he sort of just rumbustuously pounds his way through the options and ends up a lot of the time on the right one, and he's done that this time as well. It is the Demitai, Chris, so you're in the final. Richard, you've been knocked out. I'm sorry. Come back to us, both of you, and we will play the final round. So this is what we have been playing towards. It is time for the final round, which, as always, is general knowledge. But I'm afraid those of you who lost your head-to-heads won't be allowed to take part in this round. So Tom, Andy, and Richard from the Mighty Squirrels, and also Daphne from the Eggheads, would you please now leave the studio? So, John and James, here we are. You are playing to win the Mighty Squirrels' £18,000. Dave, Chris, Barry, and Pat, you're playing for something that money can't buy, the Eggheads' reputation. As usual, I will ask each team 3 questions in turn. This time the questions are all general knowledge. You are allowed to confer. So, Mighty Squirrels, the question is, are your 2 brains able to take down the Eggheads 4? And even more important question, would you like to go first or second?
We'll open the batting. We'll go first.
Good luck to you. Here we go. First question, Mighty Squirrels. Which chess piece occupies the corner positions at the start of a game? Is it castle, knight, or bishop?
Okay. Happy with that?
castle, yeah.
Absolutely. Castle.
Castle is the right answer. Well done. Over to you, Eggheads. Fraise is the French word for which fruit? Lemon, melon, strawberry.
That's strawberry, Jeremy.
Strawberry is the right answer. Back to you, Squirrels. Farm Boy is the sequel to which popular book? Is it Warhorse, Black Beauty, or The Horse Whisperer?
Warhorse was based on a based on a farm. He started the story started based on a farm. Beauty, I'm not particularly sure of.
So do you want to go?
I think it tends to be going back to the farm, possibly.
Okay.
Okay, happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. We'll plump for Warhorse, please, Jeremy.
Warhorse is the right answer. Good, steady, logical answering. Eggheads, we are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. A line spoken by which character in the Shakespeare play The Tempest? Is it Ariel, Caliban, or Prospero?
Prospero, isn't it? Prospero.
Yeah, those two.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely sure.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
too deep for Caliban. It's not
no.
fair enough for Ariel, so it's Prospero.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he's speaking to Miranda at the time.
Okay, we think that's Prospero.
Yeah, Barry knows his Shakespeare. Prospero it is. So 2 each. And we're on the third question here. If you get all 3 right, which I really recommend, there's 18,000 being played for, and they can slip up. In January 2012, Margrethe II celebrated her 40th Jubilee as the Queen of which country? Is it Finland, Norway, or Denmark?
No, I've got
Go on.
I was tending towards Denmark, but
Yeah.
I've got no idea why.
Yeah, I seem to remember something along those lines. It certainly.
I don't remember seeing either of the other 2 on the papers. So.
No, I don't. I'm definitely swaying towards Denmark.
Okay, yeah, go for that.
We're not quite so sure, Jeremy, but we'll have a punt at Denmark.
The Queen who celebrated her 40th Jubilee was Margrethe II of Denmark. Well done. You got 3 out of 3, couldn't have asked for more. We're 1 question away from getting that money, because if the Eggheads get this wrong, then the game is over. The theme tune of which TV series was an arrangement of the traditional folk song Johnny Todd? Is it Z-Cars, Dixon and Doc Green, or The Avengers?
It's Z-Cars. It's the one they play at Everton. The one they play at Everton matches, definitely Z-Cars.
Okay, that's Z-Cars, Jeremy.
Z-Cars is the right answer. So 3 each, playing well. We go to sudden death. £18,000 to play for, and I don't give you alternative answers. Which Samuel Beckett play features the quotation, Give birth astride of a grave. The light gleams an instant and then it's night once more.
No.
I'm terrible with plays.
I'm struggling with that one. Really, I'm struggling with that one, I'm afraid.
Just have a guess. I don't know any, so...
No, I can't even come up with an answer there, I'm afraid. Is it the Gravedigger or something like that? The Gravedigger, we'll put as an answer.
The Gravedigger. Let me see if the Eggheads know.
Is it Waiting for Godot?
Waiting for Godot is the answer. So if they get this, if the Eggheads get this, they've taken the contest. Anthony reached number 3 in the UK charts in 1960.
What English folk songs do we have? Green Sleeves? Green Grow the Rushes O?
Scarborough
Oh,
Fair.
sorry. I think. Oh, is it Strawberry Fair?
Strawberry Fair.
Is it Strawberry Fair?
Yeah,
that
Is
could
it?
be, that
Yeah,
makes
I think
sense.
I think it is. I think he did do Strawberry Fair.
Strawberry Fair in the early 60s,
Yeah, I think he did do it.
Buttercups and daisies.
Yes.
I think it's Strawberry
happy with
Fair.
that.
I think it's
Yeah.
Strawberry Fair.
Strawberry
Yeah,
Fair.
Strawberry Fair.
We think it might be Strawberry Fair.
Well, it's very interesting listening to you. As you talked, I thought you are drawing a total blank here. And then it's Dave, tremendous knowledge Dave, pops up with the answer Strawberry Fair, proving he is definitely an Egghead, because that is the correct answer. It's Strawberry Fair, and we say congratulations, Eggheads, you have won.
Well done, Dave.
That was good, Dave.
Well,
That just came like that.
Well, I think you find something in the recesses sometimes, so, you know, that one came up because I was thinking of his other records there. It didn't spring immediately, but
It's a tricky question, though.
very hard.
But anyway, thank you for playing.
Thank you.
In a very good cricketing spirit.
Thank you very much.
Glad
Enjoyed
we've
it.
got the Squirrels on the air.
Yeah.
Commiserations to our challengers. The Eggheads have done what comes naturally to them, and their winning streak continues. It does mean you won't be going home with the £18,000. So the money rolls over to our next show. Eggheads, congratulations. Who will beat you? Join us next time to see if a new team of challengers have the brains to defeat the Eggheads. £19,000 says they don't. Till then, goodbye.
Life in a Cottage Garden with Carol Klein continues tonight at 8:30 here on BBC Two. That's followed at 9 by the final part of Italy Unpacked, where Giorgio indulges in a slow food revolution. Then there's more best bits from Stephen Fry and the teams from QI at 10.
Music, the most dazzling fruit of human creation, from the first simple notes to today's global phenomenon. Join me, Howard Goodall, on this epic journey through the story of music.
Howard Goodall's Story of Music, tomorrow at 9:30 on BBC Two.